Welcome to the High Ticket Success Podcast, where premium coaches, consultants, and advisors come for bold strategies, big breakthroughs, and real results. I'm your host, Dave Dubeau.
Hey guys and gals, let me ask you a question. Have you ever tried putting on your own event, whether that's live and in person, like a workshop or an actual seminar, or maybe even online, like a webinar? Well, if you have, chances are you've struggled with or had challenges with getting derrieres and derrieres and chairs. That's what I used to call it. Cheeks and seats, bums and seats, whatever you want to call it, virtual or real. It's a challenge. And our guest today, Terence Tam, works with Radical Marketing, and they help us to radically increase how many cheeks and seats we can get. So Terence, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks, Dave. I prefer bums and seats. For some reason, I like bums better.
Well, hey, you can like bums. I like cheeks and seats. Kind of rolls off the tongue there for me. So you've got your terminology, I've got mine. But bums and seats, that's the idea. We want to get people coming to our events, right? That's what it's all about. So first things first, Terence, talk to me a little bit about who do you serve the best? Like everybody's kind of got their ideal avatar. Who do you guys work the best with?
Well, good question. I think for the past 11 years, we've worked predominantly with coaches who sell high-ticket items through their webinars. That's who we have been working with predominantly, and mainly on a B2C level, meaning they are actually selling to people, mass market kind of audience rather than B2B. We do work with some B2B, mind you, but predominantly our experience has been in the B2B space.
Okay, so I'm kind of a visual kind of guy, even if it's a word picture there. So Terence, can you walk me through like your favorite case study or success story of one of the clients that you've worked with and kind of paint the picture of what they were doing before, maybe what niche they're in, what they were selling, how they're struggling, and then how plugging in, working with you guys transformed things, and then show us what the after picture looks like.
Sure. I think a good example would be Yasil Khan, who's actually based in Canada, I think Toronto, and he teaches people how to speak in public. So when he came to us, he is an influencer with 4 million followers.
Okay, that's pretty huge.
The problem is kind of huge.
Yeah.
He never saw anything through he never saw courses through webinars before. So when he came to us, it was his first time doing a launch and everything. So what we helped him to do is plan the whole launch to his existing lists, and at the same time, drive cold traffic from Meta to his webinar page. So we built the whole funnel, all the landing pages, follow-up sequences, everything, created this message, crafted this message, the angle of which we approached market. And I think in the first launch, roughly he got 11 times return on ad spend. And now he's still consistently working with us. And yeah, it's just really kind of like we have gone from pretty much I don't know whether this is going to work, to now it's like, wow, okay, we have a kind of like a predictable money printing machine in a sense, right? Where we invest this much in ads, we get this much out in profits.
Okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here with you, Terence, because I know what some of the viewers and listeners are thinking, saying, okay, well, that's a nice story, but I don't have 4 million frickin' followers on social media. That's a cakewalk. That guy farts sideways online. People are going to pay attention. Nobody knows me. I've got 47 followers on LinkedIn. How can I apply this if I'm not at that level yet? So first of all, or is this something that you really shouldn't be looking at until you're quite a bit more established? What are your thoughts on that, Terence?
This is what I'll say, right? If you're doing paid ads, definitely I don't think you should be doing it if you are down to your last $5,000 and you're like, okay, this is it. If I don't make money,
make it or break it.
Make it, break it. No, don't do that, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you another example where recently we just started working with a sales coach in the UK. And what we are doing for him is he doesn't want to spend money on paid ads, had bad experiences with paid ads before.
Haven't
And we're
we all?
like, yep. Totally understand. Which most people do, right?
Yeah, okay.
And so we're like, okay, this is what we're doing for him is we're doing a whole LinkedIn outreach connection campaign, which is totally organic. And then we're actually inviting his LinkedIn connections to come to a once a month webinar where he does his magic show and hence signs people up to a one-on-one call. So because in LinkedIn, you have this like event you can create on LinkedIn, I'm not sure whether you know, and then you can invite people. So we're using that kind of free mechanism through LinkedIn to get people to come to his webinar.
There's
different ways to do it. Yeah.
I'm curious about that one because again, I think a lot of people can kind of relate more to that guy than the $4 million follower guy.
Yeah, of course.
So, question I've got for you, that's probably a much lower volume kind of event than the 4 million follower guy, I'm guessing. So how many people is he kind of seeing consistently showing up for his monthly webinars?
Okay, for that one, we haven't actually started officially yet. I mean, we have just started, but we haven't had the first webinar yet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But the target, it's 10 to 20 people.
Yeah.
And I mean, per contract, he could go up to like $50,000 per contract or £50,000 per contract.
Yeah.
So he doesn't need
It's a high ticket sale that he's got.
It's a high ticket sale.
He gets one sale a month. He's a very, very happy camper. Gets two.
So are we. We're both very happy.
Well, you're very happy. So does that mean you're kind of compensated on results, or you guys pay for service? How does that work? How's that side of things work, Terence?
Yeah. So it's kind of like different for different people. So like for the first one, Yasil, we work on a retainer plus a small percentage. Mm-hmm. Whereas for this second one, we work purely based on percentage because we're like, okay, we don't know whether this is going to work and I cannot make any promises. So this is what I'll do. We'll do a profit sharing basis.
Okay.
So there's no risk on your part and, we're taking the risk out, but, we take a big chunk of the profits, right? So
yeah,
I think
that's fair. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So if somebody watching this is a coach or a consultant or advisor, and they haven't really tried events or webinars yet, what would you suggest to them based on the last 14 years you've been helping people put bums in chairs? Why would you recommend that this is a good model to look at?
Why it's a good model, I think some research has shown that you need people to watch your videos or spend a certain amount of time with you before they are willing to fork out that money to make that high ticket purchase.
Yeah.
So at a webinar, you're spending 1 hour to 1.5 hours with them. That is an opportunity to build trust, to build credibility. And if they're just starting off, there's various ways to go about it, right? You don't need to use LinkedIn if you don't have a big following there. You could, maybe if you have a list, right? This is where you start with your own list. Maybe you have some other coaches, some coaching friends and all that. And you can do a list swap, right? Mm-hmm. And do a webinar and promote each other. So there's various ways until you test out and find that you have a good performing webinar that converts. Then you can maybe consider paid ads. So, step by step kind of.
So you've worked a lot with coaches you were mentioning. So when these coaches are doing their webinars, is the end pitch, is that call to action usually book a call? Or is it a direct thing to buy my stuff? What are you seeing more people doing these days, Terence?
Really depends on the ticket price, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, the first guy that I mentioned, his ticket price is around $1,000. So it's straight to the sale.
Yeah, the 4 million follower guy doesn't want to talk with one-on-one people about $1,000.
No. He's busy with his 4 million followers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whereas the second guy, Stuart, he you're selling potentially a 50,000 pound item, you need that one-on-one call. No one's going to buy through a webinar, right? So
exactly.
It's really horses for courses.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, playing devil's advocate here, Terence, there's a lot of noise out there that webinars are, air quote, dead, that the show up rate for webinars has taken a nosedive. Nobody wants to attend these things live anymore. They just want to wait for the recording. What is your take on that? What have you seen over the last 14 years or whatever it's been? Because things change and morph over time.
Yeah, I would say definitely attention spans are definitely dropping. I would say that during COVID, it was like the prime time for webinars, right? Because people couldn't go anywhere.
You had a captive audience, literally. Yeah.
Yeah. They were stuck. Yeah. But now, definitely people have shorter attention spans. They're more distracted and so on. So I think two things, right? Number one is that the quality of your content needs to be really good now, and you really need to offer value to make them, stick, right? Whereas during COVID, people always use the Russell Brunson perfect webinar formula. Look, that probably doesn't work so well now. I wouldn't say it doesn't work, but it doesn't work so well now.
But there's only been 50,000 people have done the exact same thing.
Yeah. So people are sick of that, right?
Yeah.
So I think real value is important. The second thing is, definitely look at testing out, cutting down your webinar time to maybe even 45 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. So no more 90-minute webinars. Keep it lean and mean.
You can, I'll say test it out, because different audiences respond differently. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing evergreen webinars, that's where I would suggest, you cut it to below 30 minutes, because people know it's recorded. And, the call to action will probably more be towards a one-on-one call kind of thing.
Interesting. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So shorter, sweeter, more impact. What do you find the sweet spot to be when somebody's doing a webinar? You mentioned providing more value. However, there's always the danger of over teaching and then people feeling like they've had that itch scratched and figuring they don't need to buy your stuff or book a call. How do you find that sweet spot, that balance? Any tips?
I think that's a great question, because you do need that balance. And I think the key thing to remember there is you do not necessarily want to give all the information for them to do it themselves. But what you want to do is to help them have that mental shift, a change in belief. That is the value you should be aiming to provide at the webinar, rather than trying to give, hey, this is step 1, step 2, step 3, and everything else. But more like giving them that mental shift to say, hey, webinars could actually work for your business, and you don't have to be an amazing speaker. Maybe that is the mindset shift that you give them. That is the value, right? So I think that is the key, is to aim for mindset shift rather than giving them
the ABCs,
A to Z's kind of thing of how to do it, because you can't possibly do it properly in a short webinar anyway.
Especially in 30 minutes. Yeah, no, that's
and they'll totally screw up, and then they'll say, oh, that Terence guy was absolute crap.
We don't want that, Terence, that's for sure. Awesome, my friend. Well, this has been really, really good. One last question as we're kind of wrapping things up. Live in-person events versus virtual events. In your business, are you seeing any trends now that COVID's over and, there's a little bit of that Zoom burnout? Are people going back to a lot more live in-person events, or are most of your clients still doing all things virtual?
Most people are still doing virtual, and we're still getting better results on virtual in most cases. Because I think people are just lazy to attend live events. Unless now we have scenarios where it's a locally based event, right? Where there is a kind of maybe a bigger name coming from somewhere else, and we're talking to specific local entrepreneurs. Now that kind of seems to work.
Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah. Okay, cool. Terence, I really appreciate having you on your show. Thanks for your insights. That's been great. Thanks for the tips on how to do our webinars better and what's working now in 2025. If people want to connect with you, I believe you've got some sort of a free resource for them. Where can they get that? What is it and where can they get it?
I wrote a book about a year ago detailing 8 different funnels that are effective for coaches to acquire high-ticket clients. So you can go and get it at leadsearchbook.com. So that's leadsearchbook.com.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to get my copy. Terence, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Dave. It's been a pleasure.
All right, everybody, take some action and kick some butt. See you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the High Ticket Success Podcast. Want to be featured? Share your story and inspire other premium coaches, consultants, and advisors? Apply now at highticketsuccesspodcast.com/guest.